Yeah. We did that thing. It was a one-time thing. Like I said, I think that's more about Sam. Shout out Sam. He took care of us. I think that just goes to show. I mean, he has the opportunity to take the fame for himself, but he wants to pass that to other guys, right? So I think that's more important for fans to understand is that our quarterback is a real quarterback. It's not some. He's not some prima donna. And I know he seems like that. He looks pretty and has the pretty hair. And he said he won't box with gloves because what if his nose gets in trouble and all this stuff. So I think it's really important for guys to understand he takes care of everybody in the locker room.
Pretty cool to have a quarterback like that. Has that sense, right?
100%.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'll let some other guys jump in.
Right on.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, man. Good
Yep.
to see you, man.
No doubt.
You're still hungry. I mean, Coach Shane said, yeah, somebody can win something once, do it again. But to come into this season, with really the hunt. Because obviously teams last year, the conference, as an athlete competitor, I don't have to tell you, they're going to prepare for you.
Right.
They finish up. You're going to get punched in the mouth and prepare for somebody. But now that you kind of have the target on your back, but you're still guys saying you're treated like being the hunters. How much fun has that made, like this off season and getting ready for spring ball?
I think for us, just don't lose that hunger now that we've won something, right? When you talked about it, it's super hard to win, things back to back. But I think it should be a challenge, right? It's a challenge for everybody in this building. It's like now there's not a surprise. The one thing that we did have was we knew is that teams didn't think we were that good constantly, all the way up. So we played Kansas State, even in the media, we played BYU. They really didn't think we were that good. We kind of slid around some teams, and people kind of went back to the loss at Cincinnati and Texas Tech, where we didn't play our best. And the reality is we lost the game, right? We didn't do what we were supposed to. But teams didn't really think we were that good. And so when you saw that stretch of 21-0 in the first half, back to back to back, it was like, man, like this team can start fast. And that's something that we talked about all the way back in fall camp. Coach Arroyo said start fast, start fast, start fast. So I think it's just the reality is that no matter what, they'll be more prepared. There will be no shock factor where it's 21-0. And there might be some games that, it still might be 21-0. But I think we have to prepare more for situations where in that first snap, this won't be a shock factor where, oh, wow, like they scored a touchdown. Our coach told us this wasn't going to happen, and the reality is it did. So I think it's really important for guys to understand from a preparation standpoint. I think we have to prepare even more because we won't get away with small little details. Guys may or may have not skipped over, but I think the reality is it requires more preparation now because people be prepared for you.
Now, when I asked Coach Dillingham, you talk preparation, obviously, before being in the Pac-12, but your opponent, like you're getting comfortable. So this year, as you go into the season, only having 3 opponents that you played last year, obviously it's always a challenge in the week, but conference-wise, and again, I know it's far away, it is one game at a time, but conference-wise, when you think about that, I guess, what's the challenge in that, but I guess what's the fun in that as well, too?
I think, we talked about it. What team is going to be like Arizona State like we were last year, right? There's going to be a team, whether it be on the country, maybe it's in our conference, but there's going to be a team that could be just like Arizona State. So I think for us that we're not going to be surprised by anybody. Last year, a team like Kansas, we said Kansas is good. Our coaches said Kansas is good. So we knew it. So when we got in the fourth quarter and we were down, our coaches said, there's a good chance we get to the fourth quarter. Don't be surprised if we're down a point, a field goal. They've been beating everybody in the fourth quarter. But I think, it's a testament to how we finish games. I think it's reality is that we won't be surprised by anybody if they're better than how they are on paper because our coaches don't overlook anybody from top to bottom. So no matter what the score was of the teams we played last year, they told everybody we got everybody's strengths. We were told their weaknesses, but it was very little. We harped on their strengths. I think that's what helped us. So this year, it's the same thing. We got to trust our coaches, trust our preparation because any team could be how we were last year.
Then I asked Coach Tuitella, obviously he said a natural move for you to go over to Sunday, playing next to Leaf. Obviously spending all that time and obviously having the experience with Sam being on the inside. How comfortable do you feel and does it feel like a natural move to you?
It's a natural move. I played it in spring ball before, so this won't be my first spring ball playing it. But I think it's helped a lot. I just think small stuff about Leaf. I think the reality, Leaf told me, hey, never set the ball down with your hand. Always put it down and then get back and then get in your stance and grab it. Because in a game, you'll never take the ball from your hand, standing straight up, drop it down. So I think even small details like that I've been able to even tell other guys now, it's like, hey, man, you're never going to put the ball down yourself. So try to make all these practice reps as realistic as possible. So I think that's been the biggest help.
And then the fake punts last year, I know the defensive linemen have been talking, I know you got a little bit of responsibility running the offense, but are you going to get in Coach Regal's ear saying, Coach, if you think you can throw the ball to him on a fake punt, I got you, Coach.
I told him, I said, everybody talked about it. You can get a fake punt. I said, I don't even know if I really want to. I'll take something else. But I really love the wow factor of and kind of the surprise factor of even in Texas, when we rolled out, I'm like, oh, this guy's going to drop. Okay, cool. And then when he came to run towards me, oh, well, you just get a first down. So I think I enjoyed it more as far as just to be able to kind of sit back and watch what's going to happen versus Kansas to Clayton, knowing that's going to happen. So I think I had more fun calling it, knowing good and well when I see it, now I can call it, and then it being ran.
Did Hamedo was telling us, or Tomedo, pardon me, was telling us that you guys had your Achilles like almost at the same time?
100%.
Isn't that crazy? Like, and have you guys like talked about coming back from that?
Yeah, I think it's been crazy as far as just the timeline. When we talk about like, hey man, you tore your Achilles, that's crazy. And when did you tear yours? Man, it was right around the same time. Like, and I think it's just crazy about life and the journey, right? Like, you never know who you'll meet, who you'll come across. Him being so close to Josh Atkins, and now him, trying to sit there and fight for a guard position while I'm playing center. So I think it's been really cool. He's been a great addition. He's a great person. We've had a lot of fun. He's merged in super well, which I think is important for an offensive line, right? And I think it was kind of like when I came off my Achilles last year, I fit right in. So we look for him and any other guys to step up. I'm really excited for him to step up and get a position because I know at Texas State he split time. So I'm excited for him to learn a lot and play, and I think I'm excited for a lot of the other guys too to step up.
When it comes to getting on the same page with Sam, obviously reps are going to be huge, but just what are the conversations and things that you've talked through with him as far as that relationship?
I think just small things, getting, hey, man, Leaf used to snap the ball a little bit to my left, right? So let's work on that. If I'm snapping the ball straight, it's not working for him. So I think just small adjustments like that, it's okay, cool. Well, now I got to learn, I got to snap the ball a little bit to the left when he's under center because that's just how he likes it, right? I think it's really more about off the field. I think Sam and I had a great relationship last year. I think that's been even easier as a transition for centers because since we were so close last year, joking around, laughing around, right, him being the young guy, I'm protecting him as a young guy. And I think even, physically, right, being off the line, making sure that, he doesn't get touched, right, from a sack perspective. And even the couple QB hits that I let up, that were off stunts was frustrating me because, like I said, it was off of stunt games, right? So I think it was important because he felt like I protected him a lot. And so then even playing center, I feel like I'll put him in the best position to succeed.
What are the biggest differences? Like, obviously there's a lot, center versus guard. Like, what would you say are the most, like, on your mind?
I think for me, I think stance. I think stance is the biggest thing because, the ability to get in a 2-point stance, 3-point stance, you can kind of mess with people. At center, you can't mess with people, right? You're in the same stance every single time. But I think the reality is I think it'll be a great move, but I think most importantly, it's always been easy for me to understand as far as center, as far as points, as far as who we're going to, why we're going to that point, right? Why we're flipping the protection. That's always come easy. So even last year, it was easy for me and Leaf because we already knew where we were going. I can't remember how many times Leaf and I really had a communication error, and I want to say 0. I'm sure there might have been 1. But we never had a communication there because we were all on the same page. Leaf and I played the same way as well. As guard, I always protect the tackle. And as center, he always protected me. But there was a lot of times where it was, hey, man, hey, thanks for that, right? Thanks for that bump, right? And it was just natural things where it's like people won't see, oh, I got beat, but it didn't work because the guard came back. Or I got beat, it didn't work because I knew the center was there, right? So, hey, I might have not have got as much as I can on that 3 technique that slanted in, but at least behind me, I'm good. It was vice versa. If you cross my face, I know if it's a 3-man front, or if I know if I'm getting pushed back at center, I know it's Ben's going to come clean up, knock him over. We'll get back on the same page.
So getting the protections adjusted, that seems like a seamless thing. You think?
Yeah, super easy because at guard, I feel like it's almost the same thing, right? Especially if you're going through, if it's a 3-man front, it's super easy, but if there's a 3 technique on me, it's even easier, right? Because if you're versus a 3-man front as a guard, you're the help guy, right? And if it's going to be an even front, right, and it's a 3 technique on the guard and you're playing center now, well, now you're the help guy. So all you did was turn to the guard and protection. So I think it's super easy.
Cool. What, like, how do you look at, like, how do you view the expectations for this team, given that they're going to be so high compared to last year, and how that changes the dynamic with it all?
I think the standard is the standard, right? And I think the standard, we've reset it. Before it was like, what is the standard? Well, we don't really know, right? Our goal is to get to a bowl game. We didn't get to a bowl game. So I think that's step 1. We got to a bowl game. Now our goal is to get to the championship. Now our goal is to win the championship. All right, we won the championship. Now we're in the playoffs. So our goal is to win. So I think the reality is, one, we take it day by day. I think that's most important. Guys have these big long-term goals, and that's something that Delia talk about. Hey, just be the best we can be each and every day. From now to fall camp to Camp T, just be the best we can be each and every day, and then we'll see how it plays out. I think the reality is when we focus on those small-term goals, how can we win today? And then our coach telling us, hey, we lost today. And that's just like the season. Hey, we played Cincinnati, we lost. We played Texas Tech, we lost. And there was other games, close practices that were similar to those other games like BYU. Hey, that whole thing, we almost lost. Sometimes we almost lost practice, and we had to, hey, we got to regroup it. So I think it's that same thing. We regrouped in a lot of those games, so that helps because in practice, he's regrouped us a lot and say, hey, this is a losing practice. We got to turn it to a winning practice. Same thing as a halftime speech. We're losing this game right now. We got to turn it to a winning effort.